Daddy's making resin mess again.
Yep, that's right. More resin and pinecone fun. Stay tuned to see what I get up to. In my oven, I have baking some rather large pine cones. I've had these for quite a few years, but I really enjoyed turning that pine cone blank that Zach Higgins gave me, so I thought it was about time I did something with these. So I've been drying them out. I'm going to put them in some resin and see what we can do with them. I'm starting off with this dry piece of yew. It's an offcut of a branch that I've used in previous projects, or a piece of trunk. I'm using my Easy Wood Tools carbide parting tool just to take the wonky end off. And now a Robert Sorby spindle gouge to get the diameter to what I want. Just checking the diameter with my gauge. Now using a Forstner bit to drill out the base. I need a recess in the base. There it is. I've turned it round now into my Easy Chuck jaws. And now I'm using a Robert Sorby spindle gouge to true up the top of the base. Just doing a push cut across here now. Now I'm going to use this bottle as a mould. So I'm just measuring the diameter of this old water bottle. Bit of recycling in action. I'm then creating a shoulder using my skew chisel that this bottle can sit on. Now what I'm calling retention grooves, which are grooves in the wood just to give the resin something to lock into. There's my pine cone. Got a bit of a wonky bottom. No one wants a wonky bottom, so I've used the bandsaw and my sanding machine to level it off. Just sizing up my mould and marking out where I need to cut it. Bit of hot glue to glue the pine cone to the base so it doesn't float up in the resin. Blowing away the dust, which is crucial. And then I'm hot gluing the bottle onto the base. This not only fixes it, but it seals it too. Now this is MBFG's Opticast 2000 polyurethane casting resin. Brilliant stuff, I love this. You can pour it in quite large volumes. Although I was probably pushing it a little bit with this project. I've mixed it thoroughly and I'm adding some amber pigment here. I'm putting quite a bit in for the first pour. I've decanted a bit of the resin off and coloured it. So I'm pouring this in over the pine cone. I'm just doing this gently, and this forms the base layer of quite a dark amber colour. Then I decant off a bit more with a bit less pigment in and pour that in, and then the next layer has a bit less pigment, so that I'm getting a slightly graduated effect. So the bottom will be quite dark and the top will be quite a pale amber. Just mixing it up each time with less and less pigment in it. And there we go, just topping it up. And then it's into the pressure pot. I actually left this overnight with the pressure pot under pressure just to make sure it's all fully cured. It's 60 psi. The next day, equalise the pressure and undo the lid. Out of the pressure pot. Levels dropped a bit, but I'm not worried because I want to cut this back to expose the ends of the pine cone anyway. So yeah, no bubbles. We're back on the lathe now, and I'm starting to turn away the resin using an Easy Wood Tools Easy Rougher, and I'm just using a little bit of the spare resin at the top to create a tenon with it, and I'm going to put a dovetail on the side. This way I can mount it in the chuck jaws when I'm hollowing it out. So there we are, I've turned it round, it's mounted in the chuck, and I'm using a Forstner bit in the Jacob's chuck just to start the hollowing process. And then I actually drill to the depth I want to hollow using a longer drill bit. And this is a Simon Hope Pro hollower doing the deep hollowing with this, and it was quite a difficult job. And now I'm using the Easywood Tools #1 hollower with a negative rake tip just to gently smooth out the hollowing and get rid of any chipping out. Just testing the effect here with a Wood Arts product magnetic light. Hollowing's done. Very difficult to do, but I did the sort of deep hollowing with the Simon Hope Pro hollower, and then I went over with the Easywood Tools negative rake tips very lightly to get rid of chipping out. I was overextending them a little bit, so I had to take it very carefully. It's gone alright though. The only thing I don't like is you can see this sort of white ghost, if you like, in the middle where it's hollowed, and it's impossible to really polish that effectively. It would act as a good diffuser for the light, but it looks a bit ugly. Looks a bit like a wasp's nest in a way, but yeah, I'm going to paint the inside of this with some clear resin, which will hopefully get rid of that appearance. And I'll do that before I turn the outside, I think. That's better. The only thing I'll say is when you paint resin on the inside of something like this, it's in very thin section and it'll take a lot longer to set. So put it somewhere warm to cure. So I've turned it round now and I'm starting to shape the resin. I'm using the Easywood Tools negative rake tips here, and they are brilliant. You don't get any chipping out with these at all. And what I'd recommend you do with something like this is to start on an area where it is running true and round, like the end where I'd cut that tenon, and then sneak up on the less than round areas. So start where it's running true and gradually cut your way back down the other areas. If you try and just shoot straight down the side where it's a bit wonky, it'll clatter and jerk about. There's the obligatory slow-mo bit for you. Lovely ribbon shavings flying everywhere, making a mess. Got to put a shot like that in there somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So what I'm doing, you see, is creeping my way down the side. It's another way of ensuring nice clean cuts without chipping out and things. Yeah, so if possible, start where it's running true and work your way onto the bits that are less true. It's coming on. Get in there. As you can see, you can really see those scales appearing now. Starting to shape the base a little bit here, using Easywood Tools again, negative rake tips. And once I'm happy with the shape, I'm then sanding using the Hope Pro sander from 120 up to 400. That's looking good. And I'm changing the chuck jaws over, which is a very quick job with the Easy Chuck, as you can see. I'm putting these long reach jaws which are going to expand into that recess in the base. And now I can shape the base because there's no jaws clamping around the outside of it. So I'm back with my Sorby spindle gouge. Done a few passes on this, being careful not to clip the chuck jaws. And there it is. That's the basic shape done. Couple of coats of chestnut product sanding sealer. This is to seal the wood and the exposed ends of the pine cone. It's not for the resin. Then Yorkshire Grit. This is the original first of all, and I put quite a lot of it on. And then you work it and work it so it gets finer and finer, then buff it all away. Then we're on to Yorkshire Grit Microfine. Same process. Apply it generously and then work it and buff it all away. As you can see, beautiful finish. All that's left now is to give it a final buff using some Vonax, and that just gets it to a real glass-like finish. Well, here's the cone all finished being turned. I've now got to put a light inside, and we need something that's going to run cool, so I'm thinking LEDs. And what I've got is one of these. It's a replacement car bulb, indicator bulb, and it's an LED bulb with silicon around the outside. And I've got a little car 12 volt socket that this fits in, a housing. So it's a spring loaded one, and that goes in like that. I've just wired it up to this for now, and if I plug it into the 12 volt transformer, there we go, nice and bright, in fact very bright, and it's cool as well. I'll have to monitor it a bit once I've set it up to make sure it keeps running cool, but we can now pop that inside there. I don't think it'd be very good if it's right at the end. I think it is too bright, but if I have it down in the denser part of the cone, I think that will look nice, and certainly in the dark I think it'll look amazing. I've cut this disc out of this styrene sheet, and there's a bit of plastic conduit, and that fits in there, and luck would have it that's the same diameter as this, so I can make a little holder for this. So here's my bulb mount. That's the black plastic tube, and then that goes on now, and then that will slot up into the bottom of that. So all I've got to do is screw this bit into here, so we've got this connector, and then that's it. Ta-da! All done. So there's my project complete. Really pleased with that one too. It's come out very nice. I'd like to have kept the cone bigger, but I wanted to expose these sort of scale like patterns, you know. But yeah, it's good. I also needed to let a bit of light through, so I had to take it down a fair bit. Let's plug it in. There we go. And that light works really well in there. If I tip it up at an angle, you can see how the light changes. There we go. That's the back of it. There's the front. Yeah, so it was an experiment that's worked well. Very pleased with that. Let's turn some of these lights off, and then perhaps you can get a better look at it. There we are, that's better. I'll go and shut the garage door. Spooky. Bit bright now. It's hard to get the exposure right on the camera really. It isn't that bright, it's quite orangey in reality. Let's put one of the lights back on, and then
might give it better contrast. That's a bit better, that's more like it.
That has worked really well, pleased with that. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed that. Please like, share and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. It really helps me a lot if you do. Costs nothing to subscribe. Hit the bell and then you'll be notified when I put more videos up. But I've got some different projects coming up. Some wood, some resin. I've even got another Pinecone one in mind. But yeah, stay tuned and see what I come up with. But I'll try and get some decent stills of this so you can have a better look at it. Many thanks to all my subscribers. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for all the lovely comments you leave. I do try and reply to everybody if I can. And as I said, costs nothing to subscribe, so please click that button and give me a thumbs up. It's a massive help to me. Check out the descriptions in my videos, because I try and leave links to the various tools and products that I use in the video, because it's a great help if you can if you want to try and replicate some of the craziness that I do. But yeah, have a look. I usually try and leave the links.
Please like, share and subscribe. My daddy needs all the help he can get. More rubbish coming soon.
You can watch me make rubbish live soon. I'm going to be doing live demos using Easy Wood tools at Yandles Woodworking Centre down in Martock in Somerset. It's going to be an evening demo on the 28th of June. That's a Friday evening. So if you're in the area, pop in and say hello.